Hey everybody, good morning. This is Sean Markinette, and welcome to 5-Minute Mornings, even though it often goes over 5 minutes. I think I do that because I'm excited about this stuff, but also I want as much information to get into your ears and to your eyes as I can possibly give you. And maybe I should just change the name to 10-Minute Mornings. Listen, I want to talk to you about something really cool today, because recently I stumbled upon the idea of stories. Stories as a way that we understand ourselves and as a way that we understand the world. And stories as a way that we can change what we think is true about us and the world. And what I want to do today is something a little different. I want to read to you a story. Now, the story comes from a book called My Voice Will Go With You. The teaching tales of Milton H. Erickson. Now, Milton Erickson is known to be one of the best hypnotherapists ever. I mean, he's really considered to be kind of the father of that. Now, I need to explain what hypnotherapy means. And you should also know that I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist. I don't practice hypnotherapy. I use it as a tool in coaching. Here's what hypnotherapy is, okay? Hypnotherapy is allowing you to access certain resources that we don't always have conscious access to. Now, some people call it the unconscious mind or the subconscious mind. Who knows if that's actually true? What I do know is, if you're able to relax your mind enough in order to hear a message that you may have blocked out otherwise because of how our conscious mind works, and you're able to turn that into a positive belief for yourself, that you will understand the value of something like hypnotherapy. Now, this guy, Erickson, was so good that he wouldn't even have to get you relaxed, really. He would just tell you a story, and oftentimes he would hypnotize clients. And hypnotize in the following way. In a hypnotherapeutic way. And here's how I define that. A hypnotherapist, if they're good, are asking you questions about what you are experiencing while you are relaxed. So for example, I might say to you, it's okay to bring your awareness now, if you want to, into the space of your head, let's say. And then you can move that awareness down into your neck. And if you want to, you can start to relax the muscles of your neck, etc., etc. And I would go through the whole body, and then suddenly your whole body is relaxed. And then what I would ask you to do is find yourself on a path, perhaps. Maybe in the forest. And the point is, though, that you should choose where the path is. So where is the path for you? And the suggestion is that you can find a path, but the path is yours. And another suggestion would be maybe you can invite people to join you on that path, people that you enjoy, people that you care about, people that you love. And maybe you could spend just a brief moment with these people in order to rekindle how you feel about them truly. And who are these people if you want to bring them? And what are you experiencing now? That's kind of like a short form of hypnotherapy. Hypnosis is like the moment you awake, you will cluck like a chicken. Like, it's very kind of abusive and very like entertaining and stage-y, right? And there's value to that. I don't know, in an entertainment sense. In a therapeutic sense, I think it's way better to go with asking you questions of allowing you to explore what are the more deeper parts of our psychology and what can I do with those pieces? Because you can actually create some pretty beautiful things with that. So if you're open to it, I wanted to preface all that with, because some people are not comfortable with this stuff, and that's okay. If you want to skip this episode, I understand. And just know that there's nothing weird or scary happening. This is all by your choice too. And the story I'm going to tell you is about opening up the possibility to different ways of thinking. And it's just an example It's really just an example from your own life, actually. So again, if you're willing to, I'm going to read you the story. If not, no worries, I'll see you tomorrow. But I think you're going to get a lot out of this if you're willing to listen. Okay. So this story is called Learning to Stand Up. And again, it comes from the book, My Voice Will Go With You. And it's edited by Sidney Rosen. We learn so much at a conscious level, and then we forget what we learn and use the skill. You see, I had a terrific advantage over others. I had polio, and I was totally paralyzed, and the inflammation was so great that I had a sensory paralysis too. I could move my eyes, and my hearing was undisturbed. I got very lonesome lying in bed, unable to move anything except my eyeballs. I was quarantined on the farm with 7 sisters, 1 brother, 2 parents, and a practical nurse. And how could I entertain myself? I started watching people and my environment. I soon learned that my sisters could say no when they really meant yes. And they could say yes and mean no at the same time. They could offer another sister an apple and hold it back. And I began studying nonverbal language and body language. Now I had a babysitter who had begun to learn, I had a baby sister who had begun to learn to creep. I would have to learn to stand up and walk. And you can imagine the intensity with which I watched as my baby sister grew from creeping to learning how to stand up. And here's the thing. You don't know how you learned how to stand up. You don't even know how you walked. You can think that you can walk in a straight line 6 blocks with no pedestrian or vehicular traffic. You don't know that you couldn't walk in a straight line at a steady pace. You don't know what you do when you walk. You don't know how you learned to stand up. You learned by reaching up your hand and pulling yourself up. That put pressure on your hands. And by accident, you discovered that you could put weight on your feet. That's an awfully complicated thing because your knees would give way. And when your knees would keep straight, your hips would give way. Then you got your feet crossed. And you couldn't stand up because both your knees and your hips would give way. Your feet were crossed. And soon you learned to get a wide brace and to pull yourself up, and you have the job of learning how to keep your knees straight. One at a time, and as soon as you learned that, you have to learn how to give your attention to keep your hips straight. Then you found out that you had to learn to give your attention to keep your hips straight and knees straight at the same time and feet far apart. Now finally you could stand having your feet far apart, resting on your hands. Then came the lesson in 3 stages. You distribute your weight on your 1 hand and your 2 feet. This hand not supporting you at all. The left hand. Honestly, hard work. Allowing you to learn to stand up straight, your hips straight, knees straight, feet far apart, this hand, your right hand, pressing down hard. Then you discover how to alter your body balance. You alter your body balance by turning your head, turning your body. You have to learn to coordinate all alterations of your body balance when you move your hand, your head, your shoulder, your body. And then you have to learn it all over again with the other hand. Then comes the terribly hard job of learning to have both hands up and moving your hands in all directions, and to depend upon the 2 solid bases of your feet far apart. And keeping your hips straight, your knees straight, and keeping your mind's attention so divided that you can attend to your knees, your hips, your left arm, your right arm, your head, your body. And finally, when you had enough skill, you tried balancing on 1 foot. That was a hell of a job. How do you hold your entire body, keeping your hips straight, your knees straight, and feeling hand movement, head movement, body movement? And then you put your 1 foot ahead and alter your body's center of gravity. Your knees bent, and you sat down. You got up again and you tried it again. Finally, you learned how to move 1 foot ahead and took a step, and it seemed to be so good. So you repeated it. It seemed so good. Then the 3rd step with the same foot, and you toppled. It took you a long time to alternate right, left, right, left, right, left. Now, you could swing your arms, turn your head, look right, look left, and walk along, never paying a bit of attention to keeping your knees straight, your hips straight. So if you're willing to listen to that story, I think the meaning of it is intensely personal to you. And I would never try to explain what I think it means to you. I know kind of what I feel like it means to me. And instead of trying to discuss that, I want to leave you with your own set of understanding of that story. And I actually want to compel you to forget it. Because I don't think that story is meant to be understood consciously. And I think if you listened to the whole thing, that some part of you was listening to it and understood. Because as you imagine yourself going through this process of learning how to stand up, you're kind of seeing yourself do it. And human beings learn best through observation. And that might be what part of you had learned. That there is a process. I don't know. It's very cool though. And if you did sit through it, I commend you, because that's a weird one, right? It's like, the idea of hypnotherapy in and of itself, it's just strange, but it could be very helpful for us. And so I applaud you for being open to that. And I also look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. What can you get excited about? And are you excited to explore if you accomplished your goal or not? And by the way, if you didn't, no worries. And if you haven't yet, can you accomplish it today, right before tomorrow? I think you can. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And I'll talk to you then. And until then, I wish you a beautiful day full of happiness, love, and life. I'll talk to you tomorrow.